If you walk through Europe's most famous stadiums right now and listen closely, you won't hear the familiar roar. You'll only find a quiet void. In a single summer, the sport are entirely gone. Players retire every year. That is the normal, expected cycle of the game. But the summer of 2026 was different. The specific managers and players who dictated how the sport is played, watched, and felt all packed their bags simultaneously. This is a systemic clearing of the personnel that defined the modern game's tactical and emotional baseline. To understand what the sport will even look like in 2027, we have to isolate and examine the three specific archetypes of greatness that just vanished. We start in Manchester. For the last decade, the Etihad Stadium operated as the ultimate laboratory for the most influential tactical mind of this generation. After 10 years, Pep Guardiola has officially stepped down. He leaves behind 19 major trophies, including 6 Premier League titles and a Champions League. The silver is secondary to the intellectual void he leaves behind. Guardiola rewired the tactical brain of English football, forcing every opponent to adapt to his rigorous, possession-heavy system or get left behind. The depth of this loss is compounded by the simultaneous departure of Bernardo Silva. He was the primary technical executioner of Pep's system, a player who perfectly translated complex dugout instructions into flawless movement on the pitch. This chart compares the total domestic points and trophies accumulated between 2016 and 2026. As you can see, Manchester City exists in an entirely different statistical stratosphere from their closest rivals. With both the architect and his primary technical conduit gone, the specific tactical framework that dominated the 2020s has been removed from the pitch. Over in Spain, we see the disappearance of a second archetype, the loyalist. Dani Carvajal spent 23 uninterrupted years at Real Madrid. He walked through their academy doors as a local child and eventually lifted 6 European Cups as a core fixture of the senior team. Watching him walk off the pitch for the final time showed the reality of an elite career's end, especially as he spent his final season battling back from a severe ACL injury. Across the city at Atletico Madrid, Antoine Griezmann's departure was stripped of all ego. Following his 500th match, he stood before the supporters, grabbed a microphone, and issued an apology to the fans for his past exit. These players serve a rare, specific function. Loyalists are the human anchors that tether multi-billion-dollar global club brands directly to the local identity of the fans in the stands. A club can write a check to replace a striker's statistical output. You cannot purchase 20 years of institutional loyalty. Then we reach Anfield, where Liverpool had to say goodbye to the players who resurrected their modern identity. Mohamed Salah arrived and immediately pulled Liverpool out of a period of mediocrity. He supplied the goals and the global profile necessary to return the club to the summit of European royalty. Beside him, Andy Robertson arrived for £8 million and spent the next decade defining the high-intensity physical baseline that Klopp's Liverpool required to function. We see this same transformative output leaving Barcelona. Robert Lewandowski provided immense volume in front of goal, stabilizing the club on the pitch during a highly turbulent financial period. The impact of his exit was highly visible when 17-year-old Lamine Yamal posted a public tribute, passing the torch to a squad of teenagers. The influence of these transformers extended beyond the scoreboard. They dictated the club's identity and self-belief for an entire decade of supporters. An era-defining manager, a 6-time European champion, and the icons of 3 separate major clubs have all exited within the same 90-day window. For fans who have followed these careers for over a decade, this is a clean break from the familiar faces that structured their understanding of the sport. Over the last decade, we knew exactly who the empires were and who ruled them. Now we are staring at an entirely unwritten landscape. The board has been wiped clean. The old hierarchies and tactical baselines no longer apply. The stage is completely empty. The question is, who will dare to step into this space next?